Hello everyone, Matt V's Movies back for another video, and this time I'm going to be looking at my Star Trek Kelvin timeline collection. So this was the recent 3 movies produced by J.J. Abrams, kind of rebooting the Star Trek, the original cast: Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Uhura, Sulu and Chekhov, and kind of giving it a bit of a different spin. Yeah, they produced 3 movies which I have here. So I've got all 3 films in Ultra HD 4K, and I've also got the 3 Steelbooks that came out. I think Into Darkness had various Steelbooks when it came out on release. But I think the Star Trek and Star Trek Beyond maybe had only 1 or 2. I can't quite remember, but these are all UK releases that I have here. So yeah, we'll have a look at each film, 4K and Steelbook, sort of have a bit of a chat about them. Okay, so the first film we got was Star Trek, and it was kind of like I suppose an origin story of where Kirk came from. We see him at the start of the film being born. You see his father and his mother. His father, played by Chris Hemsworth, he did a really good job. And it kind of shows sort of him growing up and joining the academy. And he meets a young Spock and Uhura. And then we see Sulu, Chekhov and Scotty. So yeah, this was the UK Ultra HD version that we got, and it contains obviously the 4K disc and the Blu-ray. Some special features on the Blu-ray. And yeah, this was great transfer. I haven't seen the whole film. I've watched certain scenes, and I was really pleased with the transfer on this one. Now we do get a Dolby Atmos track on the 4K disc, which is really nice. Good sound on this one. Great HDR. Here's the 4K disc. Oh no, beg your pardon, that's the Blu-ray, and that's the 4K. So yeah, that's the 4K of Star Trek. And then coming on to the Steelbook. Sorry about that glare. This is a sort of really nice sort of design, and this was actually first produced by Play.com, unfortunately now defunct, no longer trading, but yeah, it was an exclusive of theirs. And this was back in the day when the Steelbooks had this sort of blue banner at the top, which is a little bit of a shame. Would have been nice to just had the sort of just the black and white across the whole thing, but what can you do? And then on the back, again, just a sort of plain sort of warp speed, I suppose, here. That blue banner again at the top, the spine, blue on the top, and artwork sort of continues a little bit on the bottom. Open it up, and it's got like a few little things here, just like kind of a take command thing, holographic experience, whatever that was. Some sort of download, BD Live. This is when sort of you got that BD Live on discs again. I don't know whether that kind of thing's still running. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think this particular version was a 3-disc version, and basically what you got was the special features disc, a digital copy of the film. This was before they introduced ultraviolet, so we got it on a disc. And I think this was the instructions to do that. And then the feature film on Blu-ray. And then on the inside here we've got a nice image of the Enterprise and the ship. I forget what that was called, but yeah, it's quite stylistic, this Steelbook. And I do believe that I think Zavvi reissued this one, but only as a 2-disc version. But yeah, this was the original Play.com version, and at the time this was going for crazy money. It sold out and was going for silly money on eBay, but I think you can pick it up cheap as chips now, to be honest. And also just a little J-slip on here, just with all the special features that you got. Yeah, it was packed with some nice features on there. So what did I think of this film? Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It was nice to sort of see a kind of reboot, I suppose, of the franchise. I think the cast, the stars that they chose were very, very good. I thought the guy who played Spot was fantastic. He really kind of nailed it. Zachary Quinto, that was it. And Chris Pine, I thought he was really good as Kirk. Had a lot of mannerisms that William Shatner brought to the role. And of course Carl Urban plays Bones, Dr. McCoy, and he is fantastic. I think he really sort of, his accent and his mannerisms are so much like DeForest Kelley. It was wonderful to see. And yeah, obviously the supporting cast as well were really good. They all kind of brought their own spin on sort of the characters, and yeah, it was. I enjoyed this film. I thought it was very good, and it was nice to see a sort of modern Enterprise. They kind of refitted it, I suppose, inside, and kind of just a modern spin on things. So it was a good first entry into this sort of 3-film saga that they produced. The next up was the second film that they produced, which was called Star Trek Into Darkness. Now again, this was the first of this trilogy that they produced in 3D. They did a 3D conversion on it, and yeah, when I saw this in 3D, it was fantastic. Never seen sort of any Star Trek before in the 3D format, so it was it's quite refreshing to see that and experience it. And yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great in 3D. And I'm obviously got behind here is a Steelbook. I was lucky to pick up a lenticular. I think this is a US lenticular, and I've kind of made it into a magnet. I think I got this one on eBay at the time, and it's a really nice sort of shot of the Enterprise as it's crashing down into Earth, and a lot of depth on there. So yeah, I just sort of customised it really for to put on this Steelbook. Now again, this was a Steelbook that we got from a company called the Entertainment Store, and they're still running on eBay, I believe, but I think they used to have their own site. No, they used to. I think they used to be on Play.com as a seller, if my memory serves me right. It's going back a few years now, but anyway, at the time they were doing this exclusive, and I really like the artwork on here. As I say, I know there were a few editions, sort of Steelbook designs that came out, but this one included the 3D, and I just really like that sort of image of the Enterprise, sort of again crashing into Earth. And it's a debossed border, and we've got some embossing on the title treatment there, so that's really nice. And obviously we've got the 4K here, so I'll show that in a minute, and we'll carry on talking about the Steelbook as I've sort of started talking about it really. So we've got a J slip on the back here, and just it's one of these sort of thick card things. So so yeah, just a sort of brief summary of the film, and some images from the film. And obviously you've got the Blu-ray disc, 3D disc, and I think there was a digital copy through iTunes, but and there's all your tech specs, sorry, down the bottom. So this is a matte finish, the spine there, and the back is quite a nice image of the sort of Star Trek emblem sort of cut out here. It was quite clever, and I think that was on another Steelbook on the front cover, if I remember rightly. On the top, not really much going on there. Bottom is just the artwork continues, and on the side as well. So we open it up, and oh yeah, here we go. So entertainment store, limited of 4,000 copies. Now I don't think this actually has a number attached to it, but it was obviously limited at the time. And with this one, now with this one, at the time there was a bonus DVD disc which I think may have been on a Sainsbury's exclusive, and I think I kept the disc, obviously kept the bonus disc, but sold on the Blu-ray. I don't have that edition anymore, so yeah, there's some extra features on here, and I think there's a bit of a hoo-ha with this at the time, because they were going through a period where they were kind of sort of splitting a lot of special features over various editions, and I think it kind of upset sort of people in the sort of collecting industry, well, you know, people who are collecting films, that they had to, you know, suddenly get multiple copies to get different features, and I think there were some exclusives on a digital version, and it all got a bit silly really. And I think they rectified that by producing another edition of Into Darkness with the first film, like a compendium I think it was, where they kind of put every single special feature back onto one disc within that set. It's kind of sort of great set. So here we have the feature film with some, again, special features on that disc. And we also have the 3D disc, which, yeah, was fantastic to see it in 3D. And the age rating things I just stuck there. So yeah, you've got the cast here, the main cast, obviously Bones, Uhura, Kirk, Spock and Scotty. So yeah, so this was a really nice Steelbook that we got from the entertainment store. Then on to the 4K and Blu-ray edition, and again this was the UK edition that we got. On the back, special features and 4K disc. Once again we got a Dolby Atmos track on the 4K, and yeah, it was absolutely fantastic picture quality. When this first came out, it was kind of one of the reference 4K discs at the time. I know this scene here at the start when they're running through this sort of field of red crop or whatever it is, the red on that, the HDR, is absolutely fantastic. Really comes through far more than the Blu-ray. So yeah, this is kind of a reference disc in my opinion anyway. Yeah, really really happy to pick this this up on 4K. So yeah, they're my two versions of the film Into Darkness. Now, what did I think of this film? Yes, not as good as the first film. They tried to rewrite the story of the Wrath of Khan, really, in this one. Obviously, this character here, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, turned out to be the character of Khan, played wonderfully by Ricardo Montalban in the original Wrath of Khan and the TV series episode Space Seed, I think it was. And whilst he was great as the character, I don't think what they did really. They tried to mix up the story and kind of change it. It wasn't a direct sort of remake of that film, but the ending certainly was kind of like that. But they obviously changed it around, which I didn't really think worked, to be honest. I mean, Wrath of Khan for me is, the best Star Trek film that's ever been made. It's just got everything in it. It's action, emotion. I mean, the ending of the Wrath of Khan, was fantastic. One of those movie moments in history with Kirk and Spock. It's timeless, absolutely fantastic. And for them to try and redo that scene again, but switch it round, just for me, it just didn't need to have been done. I don't know why maybe they just thought, we're riding on the success of that film, so let's reinterpret it. But no, I just don't think, I don't know whether a lot of the fans really were keen on it either. It kind of felt like they were just trying to reproduce something, that was magic at the time, and it just didn't work, in my opinion anyway. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that absolutely love this film, and great. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the film. I did. There's a lot of action in it and a lot of good set pieces. The characters are great. Again, returning from the first film, but just felt the story really, it'd have been much better if they'd gone with an original story, something completely different to what we'd seen before, just taking this in a new direction. But I feel they kind of wanted to sort of ride on the success of the Wrath of Khan and kind of retweak it in a way. But no, for me, it just didn't it didn't work really. But nonetheless, an entertaining film. I enjoyed it and I loved it in 3D. It's fantastic to see it in 3D. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Into Darkness. And then the last film, current film, I don't know whether there's any plans to make a fourth one. I think it has been kind of rumoured that something was in the works, but then it wasn't. And personally, I think they should kind of leave this sort of trilogy now of films, an alternate timeline. It's kind of set within its own little universe, I suppose, within the Star Trek lore. So yeah, I think if they did a fourth one, it would, I don't know, I just don't really think it, I think there's far more things they could do with Star Trek now. Take a movie franchise in a different direction. I don't know what they would do at the moment myself. Personally, I feel there's a little bit too much Star Trek at the moment. I think too many series. I'm looking forward to Strange New Worlds, but for me, Discovery, whilst it's got some good ideas, I just don't connect with any of the characters really in that. I think it was the end of season 2 where we saw Captain Pike and the Enterprise. Those episodes were really good, but yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. I'm not really talking about the Star Trek series. We're talking about the films here, but so yeah. Right, so anyway, in my collection I've got the a Steelbook, which was an exclusive to Zoom, and they're still going, but under a different ownership. Unfortunately now, well, it didn't really seem to be that great an online store, to be honest. They were doing some nice exclusives at the time of doing this, and this is one of them. But yeah, it's a shame, because under this new ownership they're just not really producing much at all. And also we've got the 4K Ultra Blu-Ray, which we've got, and it got a nice slipcase with this one as well. So we'll look at the Steelbook first. And like I say, the actual lenticular, which is really nice, showing the Enterprise going into sort of flight, warp speed, I suppose. This was the exclusive part of the Steelbook from Zoom, so that was nice. Now the actual Steelbook, I think, was available from other retailers, possibly Zavvi or Amazon, I can't quite remember, but again, this is a wonderful design, harking back to the original motion picture. They took the original sort of design of 3 characters with this sort of lights sort of streaming upwards, shall we say, and then sort of reconfigured it for this film. Obviously Beyond had nothing to do with the motion picture, it was just merely a stylized choice that they chose. And again, sort of, to me, it was like they almost didn't really know what to do themselves with this. They were kind of using sort of imagery and ideas from the original series of films. It would have just been nice if they'd have kind of kept to something original with this set of 3 films. I think the first film was original. They did that very well, but these sequels definitely, you know, sort of trying to borrow things from the original films. But there we go. But nonetheless, it's still a nice image. I really like that. Nice debossed border again, and some embossing on the title treatment. So that's very nice to see. And then on the back, again, another sort of image of the Star Trek emblem and the Enterprise going through the middle. So yeah, it's a nice design, matte finish again, and then we've got this spine there, artwork sort of going over the top, the bottom, and on the side. And then we just look at the J card. So again, sort of, you got the 3D film and the Blu-ray with some special features in there, and again this came with a digital code. So yeah, sort of thick cardboard on that, it's quite nice. So we just have a look at the Steelbook inside now. So again, with this one you got the feature film on Blu-ray and the 3D disc. And again, the 3D on this was, you know, fantastic. Nice to see another Star Trek film in 3D. And again, some nice inner artwork again with that sort of image of the Enterprise in flight, kind of like a rainbow sort of effect, I suppose, in the sky. So yeah, a really nice Steelbook there from Zoom. And then on to the 4K, and I'm lucky to pick this one up with a nice slip case, and we've got some sort of slight embossing on the title of Beyond there and the Star Trek. And on the back, just the tech specs and a little bit about the film. And again, you know, this again was a fantastic transfer. Some really, you know, great HDR on this one, and Dolby Atmos again on the 4K, which was nice to see. And then we open it up, just the standard Blu-ray underneath, and this has got a thin case actually. And then on the inside, now I've only actually got the 4K disc. I think possibly when I bought this, actually it may have been on eBay and it just came with a 4K disc on its own. I can't remember now, to be honest, but I haven't got the Blu-ray. But to be honest, I've got the Blu-ray in the Steelbook anyway, so it didn't really make a lot of difference. But yeah, as I say, a really nice transfer on this film. Again, my thoughts on this particular film. I enjoyed it. You know, it was good, and say great to see in 3D. Really enjoyed that aspect of it. The characters were again, you know, very good in this. Chemistry between the characters has been very good, sort of consistently throughout this trilogy of films. But I felt this one, really, it was trying to be something different to what Star Trek is. They were sort of, there's a lot of action in this, but I just felt they were trying to sort of almost not be Star Trek in a way. Hard to explain, but sort of certain scenes which sort of stood out to me. I think Kirk was on a bike, and I think they were playing sort of the Beastie Boys music, which again didn't really sort of fit in with Star Trek. It's not the sort of soundtrack that really sort of fits the Star Trek world, if you ask me. Nothing against the Beastie Boys, but it's just, I don't know, for me it just doesn't really sort of fit within that sort of, you know, this type of film really. But again, you know, obviously felt that we're trying to do something different. You know, bring a different take on this this sort of franchise of films, a trilogy of films, shall we say? And you know, they tried to create something unique. Yeah, I think this was the weakest of the three films, in my opinion. You know, to be honest, I think it's kind of, yeah, time to sort of leave this timeline. I think they've kind of exhausted it. Obviously they introduced the sort of, you know, original Spock played by Leonard Nimoy into darkness, and then obviously carried on into this film a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm pleased in a way that they've kind of, yeah, stopped with this one. I don't really think it needs any more adding to it. So it was, I think what they were trying to do is to create Star Trek for a modern audience. That's what I think in a nutshell with this trilogy. And whilst certain aspects were great, other aspects, certainly for somebody who's followed Star Trek for many years, from watching the original series when I was young to the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, etc. Yeah, I didn't regard these as some of the best films, but entertaining nonetheless. So that was just a look at the three films in the Kelvin timeline, and sort of giving you my thoughts on what I thought of all three films. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch the video. Take care, and see you in the next one. Bye now.